Some people look up to Ainsley Earhardt as a role model and source of inspiration. She is perceived by some as one of those who misuse their position to promote inappropriate causes. Since she became well known across the country as a co-host of Fox News Channel's Fox and Friends, there has been a rift. Additionally, she has achieved a certain level of celebrity status due to the fact that millions of people watch her morning show. In addition, Ainsley has experienced life's ups and downs, just like the majority of superstars. She has faced it all to be relevant even now, despite devastating betrayals from those who had vowed to love her forever and profound personal losses that left her feeling empty and lost. Come along as we examine the tragic tale of Ainsley Earhardt, who continues to receive widespread acclaim for her resilience in the face of hardship. She is regarded by some as one of the most controversial celebrities of our day. Some people concur, but they fail to perceive the benefits. However, Ainsley was only a tiny child from Spartanburg, South Carolina, before she gained the attention of millions of people. Born to Wayne and Dale Earhardt, two industrious parents, her family relocated frequently when she was growing up. She was still in primary school when they relocated to Columbia, South Carolina, from the Fox-Craftoff neighborhood of Charlotte, North Carolina. Ainsley aspired to be an actor as a teenager. She took part in theater and was always present at the Academy and Grammy Awards. Her parents had to persuade her against going into acting. Richard Boyd, a Colombian orthodontist who worked for her part-time job, also gave her guidance. He advised her to think about going in his direction. He assured her that as an orthodontist, she would be able to work with amazing families and spend any weekend in New York, which was already her ideal city. Ainsley attended Spring Valley High School and was said to have demonstrated a strong commitment to her studies while her family was still residing in South Carolina. She was also quite active in extracurricular sports like cheerleading, softball, and tennis. Given that her father worked 3 jobs to support his family and ensure his kids weren't missing out on the experiences their friends had, it's clear that Ainsley wasn't afraid to put in a lot of effort at work. Dale and Wayne also made sure Ainsley and her siblings attended church regularly and received a thorough education. They studied texts, poetry, and inspiring notes at the breakfast table. Dale went home at 7 in the morning to work as an early childhood development teacher in Richland District 2. Wayne prepared the kids for school before going back to work as a basketball coach at W. Ford College, Dorman, and Orangeburg-Wilkinson High Schools. In order to finance their children's college educations, he then took a sales position and founded his own business. Following high school, Ainsley enrolled at Florida State University. She attended Florida State and majored in biology. She did not enjoy her coursework, but she did enjoy her sorority and her time as a student. When she turned on the television one day, she saw Lisa Gibbons, an Irmo native, discuss how her time at USC equipped her for a career in television. Ainsley decided to return home and enrolled in the University of South Carolina, where she earned a journalism bachelor's degree. She wanted to work as a television journalist in New York City after graduating. She should take her time and lay a solid foundation first, though, according to one of her mentors. She decided to accept a reporting position with a local CBS affiliate in Colombia after taking this to heart. She worked as a morning news anchor during this period and started developing sincere relationships with viewers. In the early years of her profession, she made a name for herself and won an award for Best On-Air Personality from the local town magazine. Although these honors were greatly appreciated, her main objective as a journalist was not to win these accolades. And Ainsley proved it when she went to New York City to report on middle school children in South Carolina who were collecting money for firemen following the events of September 11th. Ainsley believed it was necessary to draw attention to the kids' amazing consideration after they raised over $500,000 for a new fire truck to replace the one that was lost at the World Trade Center site. Ainsley later joined a weekday morning newscast for a news organization in San Antonio, Texas. Like she usually did in high school, she was herself and did other things that had nothing to do with her job. She finished a half marathon in Austin, Texas, as one of these personal pursuits. She skydived with the U.S. Army Golden Knights and flew in an F-16 jet with the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. Ainsley obviously enjoys pushing herself beyond her comfort zone. This quality would ultimately advance her career. Ainsley got a career-launching call from Fox News 1 year and 6 months after moving to San Antonio. All of the fundamental work she had been doing to advance her profession had pleased them. She received an invitation from Fox News to try out in New York City. But this audition wasn't your typical one. Ainsley would be up against a legend. Everyone knew that Roger Ailes, the founder of Fox News at the time, was a significant person in the business. No one, not even Ainsley, would have felt uneasy sitting in front of a legend. Roger was quick to recognize it, and it is not surprising given his empire-building experience that he knew talent, discipline, and genuineness. Ainsley's sharp journalistic mind was immediately apparent to him, and he didn't hesitate to give her a job within his network. She quickly moved to New York City after accepting an offer. Ainsley was leaving Texas, but she brought with her all that was true to herself. Viewers throughout were captivated by this authenticity, particularly those from the Midwest and South. Her refusal to change who she was in order to further her profession was respected by those from different regions of the nation. To start, Ainsley maintained her conservative beliefs and Christian religion, which greatly influenced her behavior on air. She just wouldn't let her own convictions interfere with her work. Her conviction that religion plays a significant role in public discourse is further supported by her interactions with pastors and other religious leaders. For many admirers, this was a welcome change of pace, because they realized that other media figures and celebrities had refrained from discussing religious topics. Ainsley's strategy was better since she didn't impose her opinions on other people and simply let her own beliefs direct her words and deeds. This strategy made it possible for individuals of other faiths to be more accepting of her. She soon made an appearance on Hannity with her own series, Ainsley Across America, and later co-hosted America's News Headquarters, Fox and Friends Weekend, and All-American New Year's Eve. She has participated in panel discussions on Greg Goodfeld's Red Eye and The Live Desk. But Ainsley reached the pinnacle of her dream in 2016 when she joined Fox and Friends. She went on to say, "I can finally breathe. I'm in the job I've always wanted, and I worked so hard to get here," she said. "I worked all over the country, on weekends, late at night, and overnight. I would come in right after 8:00 p.m. and stay all night, anchor the morning show, and stay and do the headlines. I worked crazy hours and loved every minute of it, and I'm grateful. I'm finally in the job I love." This admission revealed a woman whose dream had come true. Despite having accomplished her objective, Ainsley put a lot of effort into getting along with her seasoned co-hosts, Steve Doocy and Brian Kilmeade. Even in the midst of a heated political debate, Ainsley's ability to establish a personal connection with guests is a valuable asset to the organization. Because of her steadfast adherence to Christian principles, she has become a voice for many who feel their convictions are being challenged. When she feels that the mainstream media is biased against traditional values, she has publicly expressed her dissatisfaction. She was able to connect with audiences through her honesty, and she continues to do so now. She contributed to enhancing the direction and tone of Fox and Friends as a co-host. She has gained followers who like the show's blend of news, analysis, and lifestyle programming because of her values-driven and faith-informed viewpoint. Ainsley now plays a significant role in the next project she originally envisioned. According to reports, during his first 8 months in office, President Donald Trump, a prominent supporter of the show, tweeted about Fox and Friends more than 100 times. Given Ainsley's outspoken support for the president, even in contentious situations, this wouldn't seem dubious. She took it upon herself to defend the administration's policies and decisions because of her affiliation with conservative politics, which put her in the heart of heated national debates. By steadfastly defending her political beliefs, such as her support for contentious foreign policy initiatives and leadership choices within federal law enforcement, Ainsley continuously strengthened her position as a devoted and vocal conservative advocate. Although her followers who hold similar beliefs praised her for this position, many who do not also criticized her. Her decision to incorporate her faith into her art has been questioned by others, who claim it wasn't made sincerely. Many have said that her religious convictions are exploited for political or personal branding purposes. Additionally, social media makes it simple to gauge popular opinion. Therefore, when the topic of whether or not Ainsley Earhardt is loved is posed, the impartial observer may see how divisive that perspective is. Ainsley has had personal obstacles, primarily in her romantic relationships, despite the demands of her job. She was originally married to another University of South Carolina alumnus, Kevin McKinney. The marriage ended in divorce after a number of years. Ainsley subsequently clarified that the collapse was caused by a combination of communication issues, divergent morals, and increasing emotional detachment, a scenario that many couples navigating contemporary relationships have experienced. She struggled with sadness, loss, self-doubt, and guilt after the divorce, which was particularly traumatic for her. Her rehabilitation process was further complicated by the significant media attention she was receiving at the time. Ainsley relied on prayer and introspection to help her restore some sanity at this time, turning to her faith for solace and direction. She later started dating Will Proctor, a former quarterback at Clemson University. Even though many aspects of their relationship were kept confidential, it ultimately ended, forcing Ainsley to deal with loss, heartache, and the difficulty of moving on in front of the world once more. Ainsley's Christian upbringing and steadfast devotion to their faith brought her and her husband Will Proto together. On October 13, 2012, they were married at the All Saints Episcopal Church in Winter Park, Florida. Their wedding was a celebration of their same beliefs and a promise of a future based on love and commitment. Ainsley and Will were thrilled to announce their pregnancy 2 years into their marriage, following years of attempting to conceive. However, their joy was fleeting. The heartbreaking news of a miscarriage was disclosed at a normal prenatal visit. The couple was already having marital difficulties when this loss occurred. Ainsley was lost after this catastrophe, wallowing in sorrow and worrying about the future. She was so overjoyed to be a mother that she was unable to cope with the denial she had experienced. She battled self-loathing and feelings of inadequacy, doubting her ability to bring a child to term and worrying that she could never know the joy of parenthood. The loss of their first child left a deep scar on her heart, even though she and Will would eventually have another child. But on November 5, 2015, the couple welcomed their daughter, Aiden Joe Proctor, into the world, and their love story took a happy turn. This joyous occasion appeared to portend a promising future, full of family pleasures and future optimism. Tragically, though, Ainsley was left suffering from betrayal when news broke of Will's alleged infidelity, upending their idyllic existence. Even though the affair allegedly took place years before she found out, the news devastated her, and she found it difficult to make peace with the man she had loved and the one she now knew. The burden of this reality caused a rift that seemed insurmountable. After 6 years of marriage, Ainsley announced their split in October 2018. Will formally ended a partnership that had once been a ray of optimism and shared dreams the next day when he filed for divorce in New York. Will refuted the accusations, saying they were false. However, a person close to the marriage said they had proof of the infidelity. To make matters even more heartbreaking, the informant reportedly said that Will had cheated on Ainsley with one of her best friends. Ainsley's sense of loyalty and friendship were severely damaged by this treachery, which also destroyed her faith in her spouse. A deeper tragedy compounded the sorrow of betrayal. The death of Ainsley's mother, Dale Elise Giles Earhardt, in 2022 added to her tragic tale. A devout woman, Dale had fought health difficulties for years, including gallbladder issues, diabetes, and a stroke. Ainsley took solace in the knowledge that her mother was with Jesus and at peace after she passed away. In order to cope with the loss, she committed herself to her job. In addition, she concentrated on raising her child and, for a while, decided to stay alone in order to heal and find her inner strength. Nevertheless, whispers about an enigmatic individual quickly started to circulate. Vanity Fair claims that Ainsley started dating fellow Fox News host Sean Hannity in August 2019 after the two showed up together as guests at a wedding at the Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster, New Jersey. She had been broadcasting her Fox and Friends show from a remote studio in the basement of Hannity's Long Island estate during the CO-19 outbreak, according to Vanity Fair. She denied having a romance at the time. Later, it was revealed that she and Hannity were engaged at their Florida church on Christmas Day, 2024. Many congratulated them on their efforts to maintain professionalism and wished them a happy marriage. Ainsley's impact extends much beyond her position as a television anchor. She shared her personal experiences and values through writing as an author. Her faith journey, the lessons she learned from heartache and failure, and how belief helped her rebuild her life during challenging times, are all covered in one of her books, which is a personal memoir. Love, generosity, optimism, and encouragement are the main themes of her second book, written for children. Ainsley wants to provide kids a solid moral basis. The book teaches children the value of empathy and emotional support while using a moderate approach to character development. Both books were praised by critics, even though they were extensively read. Nevertheless, both of them were listed as New York Times bestsellers. In the meantime, Ainsley Earhardt's career flourished as a significant industry voice. She has gained recognition at Fox News. Ainsley's professional achievements are self-evident. Among her many accolades are an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters from the University of South Carolina and a Daytime Emmy Award for Best Morning Programming. In addition to her career accomplishments, Ainsley is well known for her charitable endeavors. She believes in giving back to the communities that have helped her. Thus, she actively supports local causes and organizations. Her zeal for spreading awareness of significant social issues and her dedication to women's empowerment further demonstrate her commitment to having a good influence. Being an American and the American dream are two of her several answers when asked what she is most proud of. She has accomplished a lot of the latte. She works at Fox News on the flag-lined Avenue of the Americas and resides on the Upper East Side of her ideal city, only a short stroll from Central Park. Ainsley frequently advises pupils who aspire to follow in her footsteps to exercise patience. She goes on to say that she is in her 40s and that she has spent roughly half of her life in this position.